Let's go!
And there is a jump. Washington played into their hands. Wilson.
Weird game for our king, Jayden Daniels. What went wrong versus the Steelers? Well, we'll talk at the end about one problem I've seen with Washington. As you see in the background, Jayden's protection really broke down. Does throw a really nice, accurate slant as Terry McLaurin went over a hundo. And this was the best defensive line that Commanders have played all season long. And look at, this is just perfect defense. It really, really, really is. Look at how everyone's in their rush lanes. This pocket is collapsing. And Jayden's just got to throw this right here. And he tries to sneak out of that. Hands to the face right there. Probably should have been a penalty. But Jayden gets sacked right here by Hayward. And he's putting all his body weight on Jayden there. Ugh. So you get a motion here after a dropped fake punt. Thomas Biotish and this Commanders offensive line, they run a screen, and they let the defensive line go through, and 91 just makes a really good tackle from behind. Austin Eckler would eventually score this, but, man, this blocking was really good, and you pick up a nice gain on first. All right, third and Bethesda, and the Commanders get into empty. You get a little bit of a chip here on old TJ Watt. I would have loved to have seen Jayden hit the checkdowns here, but he tries to get very fancy on this inbreaker here. Love the anticipation, love the confidence to put this behind him so he doesn't get hit, and it's a drop. It's a very difficult catch, so give the Steelers a lot of credit for playing good D. So what do the Commanders do? Well, they run something very similar on the next drive out. As you can see, Jayden, 6 of 11, 37 yards. He's going to try his best to not turn this football over, and he hits his check down, okay? Really good stuff. I honestly do think the Steelers throughout this game did a really good job with their rush lanes, right? They have a second level pressure, so they have a second wave for if Jayden decides to run, he's right there. Does a good job just hitting this check down to Zach Ertz. Sets up third and short, and the Commanders are able to pick up this yard. Really, really, really good stuff. So Steelers decide to crowd the line of scrimmage, but at the same time, when you're backing out, a lot of guys are just sitting on the yard marker. So sometimes the best thing to do is just run verticals. And that's exactly what happens. All right, they have the perfect call versus cover 3, which is 4 verts. Okay, because one of these is going to be open. You either throw this one or you throw this one. And Jayden decides to throw this one right here to Luke McCaffrey for a big, big, big gain. Now, in an absolute perfect world, you start off looking to the right, and then you work to the vertical here to the left, and maybe Zach Ertz is scoring this. I don't know, but really good quarterbacking nonetheless, and you pick up the first down in the 2-minute drill with all 3 of your timeouts. And Jayden eventually does pound this in. Man, I have really enjoyed watching the Commanders do these overload sets, okay? So you're thinking that they're going to run to the right because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, 3 tight ends, and your 2 traditional linemen, and they start off running to the right, but Austin Eckler bounces this to the left. That's a really good block here on the left side, and it's a touchdown. So we've reached halftime. Washington Commanders fans, guess what? We will do our first live show Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Commanders Live, all things Jayden Daniels, all things this Washington defense. So we'll see you there. Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central. Please show up. And, man, if you look at this purely from a fantasy standpoint, the Terry McLaurin, Jayden Daniels connection has been painful, right? You've had so many of these near touchdowns. Obviously, you just took one more man to beat right there, and that's an extra, 14 fantasy points if you have Jayden and Terry on your team like I do. But, man, what a throw on the slant. Good job by Terry making the guy miss, and it's a huge gain. And then guess what? If they can't stop the slants, you work it again. Okay, look at this throw from Jayden on the double slants. You read this inside out, so you had the double right there, and hits Terry right in the chest, and he picks up a first down. And Terry, once again, almost scores. That would have been a 12-point fantasy difference. All right, it's second and Gallatin here, and, man, you guys have asked me to do more Commanders defensive reps. This game shouldn't have been close. You've got to be able to close out games. Steelers dominated time of possession. They ran, I think, 11 more plays. The drop punt didn't help, but you've got to make this tackle. You just do. And the fact that you guys are getting truck sticked here, getting cut back on and everything else, George Pickens is obviously a very special talent, but, man, that's just a back freaking breaker. He gave up a 3rd and 8 as well. That was very simple. And look at all that poor tackling. I mean, goodness gracious. Back to Jayden's LSU days, he is really hard on himself. Okay, he expects excellence, and he's got all that intangible magic, and he is going to be not happy with himself for missing Noah Brown on this inbreaker. Look at this, okay? He does complete it, but if you hit him in chest, you're probably gaining more yards there. So that right there costs you about 5 or so yards. All right, so this will be a play that we spend a lot of time on Tuesday night for the live stream. Once again, 6 p.m. Central. I'm hammering it at home because I'm really bringing the heat Tuesday night, okay? I guarantee you my live shows are going to be better than these film studies. First off, let's give the Steelers a lot of credit. Defensively, they outcoached the Commanders, okay? And by outcoached, they just were really smart with their pass rush lane integrity. They did a lot of these stunts where there is a second wave of pressure, okay? And the reason why that second wave is so important is, you know, Hayward is able to read and react if Jayden decides to scramble through here. Or if he decides to scramble through here, you'll have Patrick Quinn here. So he did a good job mush rushing, okay? This was just a domination in the trenches by them, in particular on pass downs. Now, should Jayden have actually thrown this football to Zach Ertz over the middle? Yes, but Jayden, once again, is a smart quarterback. He is a risk-averse quarterback. The check down has a lot of value. So, yeah, potentially you could throw this football to Zach Ertz, and he's got this guy boxed down, and you're probably getting this first down right here, okay? But there's a lot of pressure coming off the edge, and you cannot, in this spot, take a sack. You just can't, because it makes it a very difficult field goal. And there is a higher than likelihood chance that Austin Eckler is making whoever miss in this situation. So I don't mind the check down. Eckler's going to be mad that he could not make Minkah Fitzpatrick, who missed that tackle on Terry McLaurin earlier, miss, right? It's a good play right there from an all-pro safety, and he was able to hold on for dear life. And it sets up 4th and medium. I would have gone for this if I were the Commanders, okay? You have been aggressive on 4th down. You had been really good on 4th down. And a field goal keeps it a one-possession game. So with your defense not having the best day, I probably would have gone for it. All right, so you get an interception. And, man, y'all, Jayden is the best slot fade thrower I have ever seen, okay? Look at this. First off, the pressure is nasty, right? Once again, they're bringing these waves. They get unblocked A-gap pressure. And while he's getting crushed, okay, you can see he's kind of wincing. Look at where this ball is placed. I mean, goodness gracious. You can't play quarterback better than this. How? How did he do this? It's stupendous. It's stupendous. He is the best slot fade thrower in the NFL. All right, we get to this 3rd in Arlington. Can the Commanders' defense go out there and win a game for Jayden Daniels? No, because Mike Williams, whose ACLs are made of moist turkey legs, is able to run past St. Juste, who you guys have told me is the worst DB in the NFL. There should never be this much separation with Mike Williams, who's 38 years old, versus St. Juste. But you get burned, and it's a touchdown. Okay, 2nd and 10. Can Jayden Daniels pull another rabbit out of his hat? Okay, yes, this goal looked like the move, all right? It's kind of hard for me to see where this deep safety is. He might be over the top of this, but he decides to work to Noah Brown, and it works. Okay, you get really good protection, and man, oh, buddy. Oh, boy. This is why it's important to maintain your rush lanes, because throughout the game, they had maintained good rush lane integrity until now, okay? if Jayden had seen this a little bit sooner, oh boy, this is huge gainer. Huge. Okay, he's the only quarterback that I would tell to do that, but he still picks up this first down, and you like Noah Brown making a guy miss or at least falling forward for a few extra yards. Good stuff. Once again, the Steelers just outsmarted the protection of the Commanders with so many twists, stunts, and layers. And this is what a lot of defensive coordinators are going to do versus Jayden, okay? So it looks like in theory this is going to get picked up, but the tackle probably should have stuck with this stunt. He thought that the guard was going to come over here. He decides to let him go, and he helps out Patrick Quinn, and that now has this DT through here. Okay, so not the best protection in the world. Now, before we go to the actual throw, in theory, you would like to see this in-breaker completed. Okay, it looks like it potentially is there to Zach Ertz for the first. Okay, it is. But Jayden decides to go to Noah Brown. I don't mind this. Obviously, this is not the best throw. It is behind him. Noah could still catch this, if you ask me, though. Okay, 42. Honestly, if we want to be fair, that's pass interference. Okay, that's got to be thrown. He was there early, and the thing is, if you're on this sideline here, you need to be yelling, "Hey, PI, PI, PI!" Okay. I'm telling you, it has an effect on that official. Instead, you don't pick it up. Most controversial call of the game, and the Steelers get away with a big one here. Big. Why are you this far back of the sticks? I do not understand that. Okay? So this is there for an easy first down completion, and you get a crappy spot. Okay? You get an absolutely positively crappy spot. And that is a first down. They don't give it to you, okay? Now, I've seen this go ball thrown to Terry McLaurin. Yes, because the safety decides to sit on the Zach Ertz route. This, in theory, is open. Now, I have to get the all-22 here, but it was there, okay? Unless there is someone I can't see. Look, I can do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, yeah, there is nobody deep here. This game winner to Terry McLaurin is there, especially considering this safety crashed down to this, okay? So, yeah, that deep ball to Terry should be there right here, okay? Now, part of this is Jayden does do a really deep drop here, okay? It is deep. Okay, so the footwork here is a little jumpy, but this should have been a first down. And it's hard for me to be critical of Jayden at all because he was, once again, very good in this game. And then we get this fourth down decision. I mean, what are you going to say? You're not going to play TJ Watt, Highsmith level defenses every week, right? Cameron Hayward's been really good this year as well. Honestly, thought Jayden played pretty well. Yeah, there were a few plays left out there, but he didn't turn the football over. He was overall very efficient. I hated that fourth down decision, and it did end up, in theory, costing you the game. You know, going for 24 to 27 in a 24 to 21 game probably isn't the smartest, but if we were to blame somebody, it would be the defense, right? It is Power Hour NFL. Boom! Now, comment below. Do you believe or will you be there Tuesday night? We'll see you there, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. in D.C. Let's go. And tonight we are doing some etouffee. Let's go.